Hello everyone, it's Lola here again, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a very easy no knead French bread. The process of making this bread is not intimidating at all, and we are still going to come out with a perfectly formed crust. So let's get started with this recipe. I'm going to start by measuring out 4 cups of all-purpose flour. And it's very important to make sure that each cup of flour is leveled so that you can get the best result. Now I'm going to be setting this aside. In another bowl, I'm going to be adding some warm water, some sugar, a little bit of salt, and some yeast. Now whisk this together thoroughly until everything is well combined. I'm not going to be proofing my yeast, but if you are not sure if your yeast is active or not, then it's advisable for you to proof it. Now I'm going to be adding my all-purpose flour. This is the flour I measured earlier, and I'm going to continue to mix this together with my whisk until the water is absorbed and it's getting hard to use the whisk. At this point, I'll just drop the whisk and I'll continue to use my hand to mix this until everything comes together perfectly well. Like I said earlier, you don't have to knead this. Once everything comes together and there's no more flour all around, then at that point you can stop. And this should take about a minute or two depending on how fast your fingers are. So can you see I'm done mixing this together? It's pretty fast. The next thing I'm going to do is just to get a little bit of olive oil and just rub it all around the surface of the dough so that the dough doesn't get a skin over it once it's proofed. If you are sure you can actually cover up your dough without any air entering inside of it, then you might skip this step. But I just like to do it to be on the safe side. Now I'm just going to cover this with a tight fitting lid, and I'm going to be leaving it in a warm place to rise for 2 hours. So our dough is now ready. As you can see, it's doubled in size. All I'm going to be doing right now is just to remove the trapped air, and I'm going to be transferring this dough onto my floured work surface. So from this dough, I'm going to be making 2 loaves of bread. So I'll just divide the dough into 2 right now. And working first with the first half, I'm going to flatten it out a little bit, just like this. Then I'm going to roll it just like you want to roll a mat. And I'm going to roll it until a loaf is formed. Remember to tug the edges of the dough so you can have a smooth and round edge. So that is how you form your loaf. I'm also going to be repeating this for the second half. I'll just be placing them on a parchment lined baking pan. Then cover it up with a damp towel and leave it again to proof for about 30 minutes to 1 hour. Now this dough has been proofing for 30 minutes, and before I take it to the oven, there are 2 more things I'm going to be doing. First, I'm going to be making some diagonal slashes on each of my dough, and this is done by using a sharp knife to create a kind of a deep cut on each of the loaf. So one more thing before we put this in the oven, I'm going to be using a spray bottle filled with warm water to spray the surface of this dough. And this is going to allow the bread to have that rustic look once it's done. So right now I'm going to be taking this to my 400 degrees preheated oven, and I'm going to be baking this for about 20 to 25 minutes or anywhere in between, depending on how dark and crusty you want the crust to be. So here we go, our bread is all done, it's ready. Like I said earlier, it's super easy to put together. As you can see, it's really soft on the inside, but it still has that elastic feel to it. So that is it again for today. Thank you all for spending your time with me. Until next time, I'll talk to you shortly. Enjoy.